Caligula, whose real name was Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, AD 12 to AD 41, was the third Roman emperor, ruling from AD 37 to AD 41. He was the son of the popular Roman general Germanicus and the great-grandson of Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. At first, Caligula was welcomed with great enthusiasm because of his family background and his promise of continuing the glory of Rome. However, his reign soon became infamous for cruelty, extravagance, and bizarre behavior. Ancient historians describe him as a ruler who wasted Rome's wealth on lavish games, strange projects, and even claimed divine status for himself. Caligula is remembered for executing senators and nobles without fair trials, spending vast amounts of money on luxury and spectacles, ordering his horse Incitus to be treated like a high-ranking official, declaring himself a living god. In AD 41, after less than 4 years of rule, Caligula was assassinated by members of his own Praetorian Guard. His death marked one of the most dramatic episodes of the Roman Empire and showed the dangers of unchecked power.
Rome, the emperor's private residence. June 10th, AD 38, evening. The most powerful man in the world dismisses his private guard. He is distraught, paranoid, angry. But most of all, 26-year-old Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus wants to be alone. Hours earlier, his sister, Drusilla, died from a high fever. The emperor, known as Caligula, believes she was murdered. He also thinks his father, mother, and 2 brothers were victims of homicide. Nearly all the members of Caligula's family have met a violent death. His father, a military officer, was poisoned in Syria by enemy forces. His mother was imprisoned by the previous emperor, Tiberius, on charges of sexual perversion. She starved to death in detention. But Tiberius was not finished. He then executed Caligula's 2 brothers for treason, fearing they would avenge their mother. The tyrant spared Caligula because he was just a toddler. He did not execute the boy's 2 sisters, as they were considered non-threatening. Caligula's relationship to his now-dead 21-year-old sister caused him problems. Whispers throughout Rome allege an incestuous relationship. The emperor knows about the gossip, but has never denied the rumors. However, his 2 younger sisters are now in jeopardy because the unpredictable emperor trusts no one. The 3rd emperor of Rome is a handsome man, slim with blue eyes and curly brown hair. But he is undisciplined and prone to violence. The Roman Senate knows this, but nevertheless confers on him the right and power to decide all affairs. This happens because Caligula is the most feared man in the world. Roman politicians know they can be executed at any time. If that happens, their entire families will be murdered as well. The paranoid Caligula does not require proof of any crime. He operates on emotional whim. His reign is truly one of terror and constant violence. This evening, Caligula is dressed in a white silk robe, sandals, and a diamond necklace. He sits in front of a massive 6-foot fireplace, perspiring profusely. The temperature is above 90 degrees, but the fire is needed to ward off infection-carrying mosquitoes, which may have been responsible for Drusilla's death. The emperor's compound is known as Horti Lamiani, or Lamiani Gardens, and sits on an outcrop of rock called Esquiline Hill near the center of Rome. Built by Tiberius Caesar 10 years earlier, the vast compound contains religious shrines, lavish baths, and bedrooms, and a newly installed execution space, which will be used very shortly. As the room warms to well over 100 degrees, Caligula finishes his supper of nuts mixed with honey and milk, said to be the preferred meal of the god Apollo. A few weeks ago, Caligula named himself the one true living god, who will live to be 100 years old. The pronouncement stunned the average Roman citizen, whose lifespan is just 45 years.
Caligula is restless. That is not a good sign. His Praetorian Guard is close by, but does not dare to intrude. He wanders his lavish quarters and winds up in a small temple where he continues brooding. No one knows what the emperor will do next. He is capable of anything. Under Caligula, the city of Rome is home to 1 million people. 80% of them live in abject poverty. They are crammed into 14 distinct neighborhoods, connected by 15,000 miles of concrete roads. The richest families, often members of the military, lived near the emperor in expensive villas, often on Esquiline and Palatine hills. The poorest citizens huddle in tenement apartments constructed with hay, water, mud, and wood. The roofs are lined with straw to deflect the scorching summer sun. Wintertime temperatures frequently plummet to freezing. To survive, the poor burn animal dung in small furnaces. The smoke is toxic, leading to citywide cases of asthma. The poorest neighborhood is named Subura. Ironically, it is the childhood of Julius Caesar, whose mother was a prominent slumlord. The district is 2 square miles of makeshift shacks, dilapidated apartments, open sewage, and rancid meat markets. Thousands of carcasses line the streets: deer, geese, rabbits, ducks, and pigs. The scent of animal entrails permeates the humid air. To hide the odor, Romans burned small bundles of herbs and cinnamon. The residents of Subura formed the backbone of Rome's working class. They toil 14 hours a day as bakers, butchers, blacksmiths, and innkeepers. Those who cannot work are often forced into prostitution or sold into bondage. Slavery is an integral part of Roman society. Human chattel is used in agriculture, private homes, businesses, the army, even government bureaucracies. Some slaves are warned to wear a 3-inch metal plate hanging from their neck. The lockets are inscribed with their name, owner, address, and place of birth. The enslaved include people born into servitude, prisoners of war, infants abandoned at birth, and criminals forced to repay their debt. The most common slaves are captured Germanic barbarians and North Africans. 25% of Rome's population is enslaved. Keeping order in the slums of the Eternal City is not easy. Augustus Caesar formed a combination of police and firefighting force called Vigiles Urbani, Watchmen of the City. These government employees are not well paid but have a tremendous amount of power over the poor. They can impose punishment on the spot, whippings, beatings, even taking a life. Few poor criminals receive a court hearing. Augustus financed the thousands of vigiles urbani by imposing a 4% tax on the sale of slaves. That brought in enough money to keep order and suppress rebellion, at least for a time. The city of Rome spans 16 square miles and is protected by fortified walls. Alongside the roads are narrow gutters used to divert human waste and garbage to the Tiber River, which cuts the city in half. The central district is composed of government buildings, army barracks, and marbled temples to the gods. 25 years earlier, Augustus levied massive taxes on the poor to construct most of the buildings. But now, under Caligula, the empire's coffers are nearly empty. Nevertheless, the paranoid emperor,